なんか。Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming. Okay, any questions or comments? If not, we continue with Master YongHua's profound teachings. Okay.
Because of this, ordinary people gain the benefits from Buddhism. This is the most critical matter for us right now. Then, people of the Buddhist Lecture Hall and Sino-America Buddhist Association, Vajra Buddhi Sea. These people did these three things. These three things then evolved into countless things.
All right, stop. So this is Master YongHua's vision. That's what happened back then in China, where the emperors, Chinese emperors, have wisdom, and the country have blessings. So that's why they have great emperors who were investing in the country, okay? And so back then the emperors took it very seriously. The great emperors invested in the development of the country, in maintaining the treasures of the country. But nowadays, our presidents and politicians are more concerned about their own re-election, about their pockets. Most of them have side deals. They have insider tips of the stocks in these various companies, and they're untouchable. If we do that, it's called insider trading, we go to jail. If they do that, it's perfectly legal. It's double standards right now. Okay, so all these politicians are stuffing the pockets right now. It is no more integrity, no more incorruptibility at all. So that's why it's so critical that we need to, our people, okay, our Buddhists and non-Buddhists, should adopt these value systems that not even Buddhists. Filiality is just common sense. We should be grateful to our parents. If you want to express gratitude, the first one should be your parents. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So these value systems are timeless and form the fabric of a great society. China used to be great as an empire. No longer is. Now China is just another US. And that's why Mahayana has to go to the US, where the people can be trained, can be educated, can be influenced without the government messing with it, without the bad politicians messing with us. Okay? So it is important for us to understand the principles these various value systems that are the cornerstones of a great society. Okay, and so what Master YongHua did is to create these entities that are help proliferate these value systems, and I hope that in the future, for Mahayana to take root in American society, we need to move more into spirituality instead of just philanthropy. The rich people, when they have succeeded, they become successful and they are rich and they're powerful, the next challenge for them is philanthropy. That's sort of their trophies in their career. So they're all doing philanthropies, and they're not really. And they, for example, they feed the poor, they help the underprivileged, they help with education, and so forth. Okay, all those are wonderful. It's good for society. It's good investment in our society. It's from the generosity of their heart. However, they lack the vision of creating a superior value system, a system for training the cream of the cream. Okay, that's what China used to have. They allowed these patriarchs, Chinese patriarchs, to operate independently of the royal patronage, and they train their own people. Okay, and in that system, the politicians, the officials, the emperors were very supportive of the great Chinese sages in their work. Okay, for that to happen, for us to do better, we need that kind of support from the visionaries of our society. Okay, it's simply for these people, unlike us, which is struggling to survive, to make ends meet, and fight the illnesses in our body and our minds. These successful people are visionaries, and they. I hope there's more of these people can have the vision of creating a superior kind of religious or spiritual well-being of the country, instead of just focusing on the physical and the emotional and the intellectual. There's something that's also very important is the spirituality aspect of life. Okay? Spirituality is what makes great people, great leaders. Okay? So Master YongHua started that, and I feel it's important for me, for us to point it out, that we need to make the Buddhist Mahayana more available through lectures, the lecture hall here, Sino-American Buddhist Association. So we work with, we take the superior Chinese culture, what used to be superior, not anymore, okay, and merge it with the American value system. Okay, so that's what this association is supposed to do, I think. Vajrabodhisi is, the lecture is not enough, it's for everyone. Vajrabodhisi is about planting the seeds for you to become enlightened. Okay, we need more of those people in this country. We need to have a system where we train them so that they become enlightened, not just talk. Enlightened people do great things. They do enlightened people stuff. We don't do great things. We do physical, we do worldly things because we have no wisdom. This is great monk here, Chinese monk from China, did great things because he's enlightened. Okay, continue.
Now they are all basic talents, so everybody needs to pay special attention to these issues.
Not just, hang on, stop. 基本人才 here is not talents. These are, 人 is human, 才 is talents. Okay, so actually, 人才 here to me are actually the prodigies, the superior talents, the great visionaries. Okay. That's what Mahayana can do. Mahayana plants the seeds of greatness in people. Mahayana recognizes greatness, recognizes potential, great potentials. It takes one to recognize one. Go on.
Then, in the future, living beings of the world are all waiting for you to cross them over.
Stop. See, Master YongHua warned his disciples already. I don't consider myself to be his disciple. I got nothing out of his heritage. My inheritance is zero. So, but he taught his people, his followers, says, in the future, living beings of the world will be all waiting for you to cross them, to help them. He gave his disciples the foresight of that already. The whole world is waiting for them to cross, to help them, to cross them over. What do? Not much yet. So it's a reminder, okay? Luckily, we're not his disciples like spy number one here, so we don't have any real responsibilities. Go on.
So like this, you can't slack off for even a minute because we don't know how many living beings are waiting for you, to cross them over. If you slack off for a minute now, he might be delayed for a kappa, delayed for a great kappa. So you can't slack off here at all.
Not really. It's not the way it sounds. These great sages, when they speak like this, his disciples saying, "Oh, so I work hard." It's not what it is. What he's talking about is that what is not clear to these people, unfortunately. And I make it clear to all of you, is that you cannot slack off. It's hard work. You suffer, okay? You starve yourself. You heal your body, that takes work. You make sacrifices. Instead of being, there and making money, making more money, you come here and learn the words of wisdom. So these are sacrifices that you need to make. And you need to make sacrifices and not slack off. Why? It's not because the way he puts it is misleading, because people are waiting for you to save them. That's not how I want to say it. That's not how I see it. Okay? Because even if you work vigorously, okay, it doesn't mean that you can save them. What's implied here at Mahayana here is that when he was alive, his disciples work hard. And I'm asking you to do the same thing. I'm asking you to work hard. Don't slack off. Okay? Because when you do that, in our system, you will improve so that you're able to help people. It's not talk. Okay, so there's what's implied in here. He unfortunately, he didn't make it clear for his disciples, is that when he was there, when he was alive, he has a system where they work vigorously. They went for 3 steps, 1 bow. They sat sleep. They work their butts off to publish these things and translate and build and fix the roof and so forth. They were very, very vigorous. And that's how they improved. They improved within his environment. Okay? So what he didn't spell out for them, his disciples, is that they improve because of their being so vigorous, of their vigor. Okay? I'm teaching you the same thing. I'm teaching you to be relentless. That's my nature. When I want something, I go after it. I will not stop until I get it. And after I get it, I want something more. Okay? So you have to be relentless. You have to be vigorous. Okay? And it's for the sake of improving yourself, so that you can help them. You can help all these beings who need to be helped. That's our ethos. What he's not saying here is, because after he's gone, they're very, very decent people. His disciples, they work hard, they don't slack off, but they're not improving, so they can't really help at all. Okay? So, while I'm alive, while I'm still active, I hope you also are vigorous and relentless so that you improve. Because I assure you, after I'm gone, after I'm done, when I can retire, then it's probably not the same anymore. Now is the time. There's a sense of urgency here. Okay? Because after he's gone, I went through it personally, after he's gone, after he died. I simply was wasting my time. Questions, comments? Green.
Master, Vanessa from Virginia would like me to share a story with the assembly today.
Okay. Yeah, we could use something less intense than this.
So Vanessa's husband, John Lin, passed away, and she's been going to his burial site, but there's no tombstone. So I guess it's been raining there. So since there's no tombstone, she scooped up dirt so she can put some flower down. And she did this for several weeks. So on Father's Day, she went with her 2 daughters. They're 19 and 23. And she said that the dirt before it, when she was digging it, it started to bubble. But on Father's Day, it turned into a heart. And so she said that she's not losing it. And it was a sign from her husband, because right before he passed, she asked him to give her a sign to make sure that he's okay. And she said that her daughters are 19 and 23, and so they're not babies anymore. And they also saw the heart. And she kept repeating that she's not losing it, she's not going crazy. And she wanted me to share the story. And she said, "Thank you, Master, for everything." And she wishes you well, and she watches your Dharma every night. So she just wanted to say thank you. Oh, and also she realized that there are other realms besides Earth, and she didn't want to break the rules on Earth, so she told her husband to not give her any more signs, because she's so scared that she might become a burden for him.
Wow, a love story. How cool, huh? Oh. Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing that with us. For some background information for you, she came to us because she watched a Dharma glimpse. Her husband was sick. They discovered he had squamous cell skin cancer. Supposedly, it's not lethal, but it was. And it's a rare case. And so she somehow decided that she needs to pray for help. So she needs to pray with sincerity. So she looked up online about how to pray with sincerity to Wan Yin. And lo and behold, there was a Dharma glimpse about how to pray with sincerity to Wan Yin from yours truly. Ching! There. So she contacted us and said, "My husband has cancer and he needed help." So I said, "Via you, through you, right? Through Xianshun." And I said, "I don't know you. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm so busy. I don't have time to help strangers, and especially since you're new, that means that it's an uphill battle, and typically I pay. My body pays for it. Now I'm not willing to pay for it. Okay, I'm not that crazy about it, and so." She persevered, and I ended up liking her a lot. So I decided to help her. One reason is that I never had any experience with squamous cell or with skin cancer. I thought it'd be, it's not a big deal. Skin cancer, so what, So squamous cell, whatever it meant. So I jumped in. And lo and behold, within like a few weeks, I was told that he only had a few months left, right? 6 months left or less. And so I'm very ashamed to tell you that, to tell Vanessa that I failed her. I couldn't save him at all, okay? I simply delayed the inevitable. It was... his death was imminent. It was too late. And so I failed miserably. Looking back, probably I would do it if I had to do it over again. Personally, I don't take failure very well. It upsets me. And I would do it differently. but I think the conditions weren't there for us to do more, unfortunately. But anyway, I felt bad. I felt ashamed of myself, embarrassed, actually. And so I expedited John Lin's journey to the Pure Land with King Yama's cooperation. I'm grateful. So that was it for us. She's very attached to her husband. I think they have a very strong relationship, and that's why she asked him for some signals. Because we basically tell everyone that if you have the blessings, they'll come back and give you some kind of signal to reassure you. Okay, it's way beyond our control. It's so apparently, from what I understand, is that when they went to the cemetery to offer flowers regularly, like weekly, right? So they dug a hole in dirt to place the flowers into the dirt so that they can stand up. And on Father's Day, was it last weekend or so? They went there, the family went there, mother and 2 daughters. And apparently the hole they dug in, no photos, right?
They have photos, but she said it's hard to see in the picture. But all 3 of them saw the heart, and the daughter was able to take like 15 or 30 pictures.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't help us. Just kidding. So apparently they saw that hole there has a heart shape. Okay, so that's why she was excited. That's probably a sign, a signal from John. And I hope it is. I believe it is. I have no proof. I believe it is because he's very attached to her as well. And he probably went to ask Amitabha Buddha for permission to come back, to send his wife a signal, to help give her closure, okay, that he's okay. And this is what I'm proud of, if that were the case, that apparently he learned the Wei-Yang style of the French Wei-Yang style in the Western Bliss Pure Land. He came back and said, "I love you, Kai." It's so French, you know. It's so sweet, it's so cute. Okay, it's not Taiwanese at all. He's Taiwanese, right? Hey, Taiwanese girl, do Taiwanese men do that? Anyway, so it's kind of cute. What a lovely story. Thank you, Vanessa. And yes, of course. There's other realms, and they're real, and it doesn't stop at your deaths. We need to take care of your futures as well. Yes, Green.
Master, 2 more things. She said that her eldest daughter dreamt about her father. He likes to play tennis, so he wears his tennis clothes. And other people are exercising too in the background.
Yeah, probably the same Taiwanese people who would go to the parks here and do the Tai Chi. Well, he plays tennis. Yeah. Yes.
She said her mom is in her 80s, so she believes in masters. So it's not the last time you'll hear from her. She plans to request a pre-49 day for her.
Okay. Well, now that her husband is gone, she has to be careful with her finances. Plus, as a girl who's 19, meaning she has 3 more years of college. Okay. Anyway, if she goes to college. All right. Very good. Thank you. Questions or comments? Yes, Chicago.
A Di Đà Phật, dạ thưa Thầy, con có cái thắc mắc này và không biết con nghĩ có đúng không. Con nhớ không lầm thì Thầy nói là khi mình muốn giúp đỡ người nào phải chờ họ hỏi mình thì mình mới giúp đỡ. Trong cái thí dụ như con nó moving, should I just don't ask, con không có cần phải hỏi nó mà hay là tự nhiên con phải hỏi nó là có nên cần mẹ giúp cái gì không? Thì con thấy có nhiều khi nó hơi confused là có nhiều người cần giúp mà mình cứ ngồi đó để chờ thì con thấy cũng không có feel đúng nữa Thầy. Dạ, A Di Đà Phật.
Master, I have a question. I'm not really sure if it's true because I vaguely remember you say that if you want to help anybody, you have to wait for that person to ask for help. So my children is about to move, and then I'm not really sure should I ask them for I can help them or not, because for me it's a little bit confusing because I know there's a lot of people that need help, but if we just sit there and wait for them to ask for help, it's kind of a little bit not very good.
Cold. But Chicago is very cold. When we advise you to wait for people to ask you before you tell them, it's about Buddhism, Buddhist principles. Because especially spiritual or religious stuff, you don't want to impose on them. Okay, what happened is a lot of people come to our temples and they get excited and they say, wow, I learned something, I have some insights I never heard anywhere else. So they came back and said, yeah, guess what? We should be teaching our children about filiality. Okay, and the husband says, say what? Okay, so in spiritual matters, we want to make sure that there's that they ask for it. There's a need for it. If they're perfectly happy, if your spouse is perfectly happy being Catholic or Christian, nothing wrong with that. That's being respectful. Okay. Whereas, because if they are devout Catholics and we try to convert them to Buddhism, then we don't really respect their faith at all. Okay, that's not us. Okay, so that's why we wait. We wait. We don't do anything. But from a worldly perspective, in other matters, like if you care for someone, of course you should ask. You say, can I offer you a cup of tea? Can I help you move that? Okay. Clearly, for us men, we should open the doors for ladies without being asked. That's just good manners. Okay. Or for me to see a kid, is to extend my hand, so that he has a chance to plan his blessings. You see, all those are, just normal things we do, okay? I hope it helps. The one thing we try to avoid is to impose our faith, our beliefs, or our scanty knowledge, our little knowledge on others, okay? What you know about Buddhism is pretty small, pretty scanty. There's no need to impose it on your family members, your friends, your colleagues. It's no need. Until they ask. YouTube question.
Daniel from Japan, who actually lives in San Jose, asks, does anyone at this temple ever undertake the 8 precepts?
Not us. There's a good thing to do. You should take them. Most Buddhist, real Buddhist temples have them. We don't. Because we really are not Chinese Buddhists or Vietnamese Buddhists. We're more like a hybrid. Okay? We can't do them all. I have no manpower to do them all. Okay? Whatever it takes to help you improve, that's what we do. And in the future, when we have more space, have more manpower, that I don't know what else to do with them, I probably will do the 8 precepts so that I assign them to oversee the 8 precepts programs. But for us, we're so swamped that we don't have enough manpower right now. And and I'm planning for more locations already to do what he's told his disciples to do. When we know that we can help, we have to. We have no choice. And we're not trying to replace the monks and nuns. We're trying to complement their work. What we're doing is really at the vanguard in that I want to take care of the cream of the cream in the same spirit as Master YongHua, the way he founded his temples when he was alive. That's where if you want to learn Buddhism, especially Mahayana, that's where you will. That's where you have to go back then. Okay? And after he's gone, somehow it's not the case anymore. Okay? Because his disciples only stayed in his shadow and rode on his coattail. That's fine, that's great. But it's not how I want to live my life. I want to do similar thing. I want to help train the cream of the cream, the elite. Okay? If you will, with this country, we proud our tradition that we have these great universities, world-renowned universities, so we train everyone from the world. Okay, we should do the same thing too, in Buddhism. Okay, that we need to train the cream of the cream, where people with great potentials, great Mahayana potentials, can come and learn and be trained to do great things for the world. Okay? So for him, he says, a lot of people are waiting for you to save them. I want to take it a notch a little bit higher, a notch higher. I want more of you to become giants in the spiritual, in Mahayana, so that you will do gigantic things. I don't need to tell you you need to save people. You will do that naturally, because that's what you're capable of doing. Okay? So, that's what I hope it's going to happen. Okay, continue.
我干嘛要自私？就是我不管他，我现在放了那么点也不要紧，要诚心来救度众生。
Can't selfishly say, "Oh, I don't care about him. Slacking off a little bit now is okay."
你就不救度众生，你也应该。
You need to be sincere to cross over living beings, even if you don't cross over living beings.
来救度自己谅解以来生生世世的父母啊，6000眷属啊。
You should still cross over your own parents, the 6 relations, which is father, mother, elder brothers, younger brothers, wife, and children, and their retinues of each life for countless kalpas.
这些人也都等着你度呢，所谓依子为父。
These people are all waiting for you to cross them over. It is said that
九古收天，你
one child entered the Buddhism door, 9 generations of ancestors ascended to the heaven.
现在都入佛门了，你要做得好啊，你有九古啊，就升天了，就会升到天上去。但是你要做得不好。
You now have entered the Buddhism door. If you do well, your 9 generations of ancestors all will ascend to the heaven. All of them will ascend to the heaven.
All right, very good. You see, and that's what he says. Say, one son enters the Buddha door. Okay. 9 generations ascend to the heavens. And it should not be misinterpreted. Master explained it very clearly. You learn Buddhism, you are providing heavenly blessings for 7 generations, your ancestors. Heavenly blessings, right there. Okay? You don't even need to build a church or do charity work. Okay, and let's see what else I wanted to say, but I missed it. Okay, 6 parents, you should still cross your own parents, 6 relations and retinues and so forth. Okay. Okay. There's a reason why you want to be vigorous. You want to work hard and not be afraid of suffering. Okay. At first, you come, you see these people, look at their faces. They look so, oh God, bad. They look so miserable. They can't even sit straight. Okay. It's so pitiful. And you say, oh, these people are crazy, they're radicals. No, not really. You are fool yourself, you think like that. These people are smart. They are not stupid at all. They're educated. And they're doing it because it's beneficial for them. Okay? They know it's beneficial. And actually, it's one thing that is kind of hard to explain to you. It's just kind of fun for them. No, they're not masochistic. It's actually, it's by suffering, by enduring the hardship, by working vigorously, you open your wisdom. And it opens the doors to a new world for you. Okay? And you enjoy the food more. Things are more interesting. Your life becomes more interesting. Okay? And it's fascinating to me. I wish I could continue. I hope I continue to improve, because every time you improve, it's like you open new sets of doors, you look at things differently, your sense of smell is sharper, and all the good things. It's fascinating. It opens new worlds to you. Like Vanessa talked about, finally I realized there's some more dimensions in life than just this world here that I cling to. There's something called Pure Land. And whatever it is, they actually care for us. And what not sure the Shinshun communicated to her clearly or not, but John, when he went, he has suffered tremendously when he was sick. Okay, here. And when he went to the Pure Land, he was so ecstatic. He was so happy, and his joy actually have been increasing. So he's been doing something very, very right. Okay, so this is what happens to you when you do the right things. Okay, it's fun. It's a lot of fun for you and for the people they will a lot more can benefit from your wisdom. Okay, what people in the world measure their gauges measure their contribution and their philanthropy works is by worldly measures. How many people they save, how many people they fed, how many girls they taught. Okay, those are fine. Okay, but what we need more is, as I mentioned, health for your soul, health for your spirits, which is measured by wisdom. You do the wise things. Yes, Red.
I was able to stay here at the temple for over a week, and I fasted basically for 9 days. And I would say the first part of my fast, I didn't really feel much. I just kind of followed the program as much as I could. But by the time I got to about the 7th day, something kicked in, and I didn't want to stop. But I had to stop at some point because I had other responsibilities. I eventually had to get back home. I had to be aware enough that I could drive back home. So all I could do was add on an additional half day. But I hope somehow I can push myself the next Chanchi, that somehow I can go further. Because I felt like I was just getting started, actually. And it was exhilarating.
Very good.
Don't want to stop.
Yeah, that's happens to most of the people if they work vigorously, and then they go through experiences like that, and that's why they keep on doing it. Okay, it's rather fast, just for a few days, for several days. It's rather fast. Many people meditate for their entire lives. They don't experience that kind of kick, that kind of leap. Okay. Okay. Yes, Chicago.
A Di Đà Phật, thưa thầy. Would you please explain what did Buddhism door mean? You say enter Buddhism door.
Buddhism door, the Buddha's door. Where is that? Yeah. It says that this is for sons only, not girls. Yeah. Well, it's because the translator is female. Okay? Because in Chinese, they say you have 儿子, which is 子 here, okay, the son. And then your 女儿, which is a girl. Okay? The Chinese is very precise. It's not my fault. Don't shoot the messenger. Yes, Chinese person.
In the past, 子 refers to both son and daughter.
Not anymore.
Yes, not anymore.
I don't believe it. They can quote whatever, but I quote the dictionaries. Okay, so it says here, and again, we need to be precise. We cannot fabricate things. Okay, one son, not one child. One son enters the Buddha's door. Okay, I prefer to translate that as the Buddha's door, not Buddhism door. Why? Because these doors are created by the Buddhas. They're not there because, can you imagine as a, doors just appear? Just like that? You must, in our country, you must have an architect design it, the door has a certain look, a certain size, and so forth, meets the code requirements. So there's man power behind it. Okay? Again, it's manpower. Okay? So the Buddha created these doors for you to enter. Okay? In front, there's a gate there. That's another door. Okay? So that's why we have gates. We have doors. Okay? So a son enters the Buddha's door, meaning a son. Settle down, settle down. Okay, the door that the Buddha created. All right? So these are the doors that the Buddha's created. Like a sangha, you become a monk. That's a door. You go to temple to offer incenses and pray. That's another door. Okay? These are the various accesses that you have to that the Buddha created for Buddhists and Catholics alike. Okay, we don't discriminate. Okay, so one son enters the Buddha's door. 9 generations ascend to the heaven. And these people, see the Chinese translation is in the past. It's a past tense. It's wrong. It's very active. The moment the son enters the Buddha's doors, okay? Buddha's doors. Okay? I'm very precise. We need to honor the Chinese teachers. They have tremendous wisdom. Okay? one son enters the Buddha's doors, 9 generations, okay, 9 generations, 9 ancestor generations ascend, there's no S here, to the heavens. There's an S here as well. See, the Catholics think of themselves as the only heaven in the world. It's not. There's so many heavens up there. Okay? At least 6 in our realms. 6 levels of heavens. And in each heaven there's more different types of heavens there. Okay? It's just like we have counties and cities and so forth. Okay? You see? So this is the exact, precise translation from Chinese. Okay? One son enters with an S, the Buddha's doors. Okay? And it's proper grammar here. 9 ancestor generations ascend to the heavens. It means that 9 ancestors, because of you learning about Buddhism, will receive heavenly blessings. Okay? And the beautiful thing about this is that even though you're not Buddhist, your ancestors still get heavenly blessings. See? He got you by, the throat. You just don't realize it, that's all. You see? When you try to convert us, we bring your ancestors to the heavens. Okay? All right. We have the last laughs. Does it help? So the Buddha created these doors for you to help you enter Mahayana. Okay? So that's why these doors are expedients that he created. So he created something for Chicago, something for West Virginia, something for Vietnam, something for, and so forth. Okay, so that's what it means. These are accesses that are expedient doors. Expedient means of access for the sons. Okay? Sons only. Yes, by number 1.
Mô Phật và Thầy, những người nam nhập vô được nhà Phật, Thầy được 9 đời, Thầy được cha Cổ Quyền Thiết Tổ, đã được siêu thăng. Chắc một người nữ nó nhập vô Phật môn đó Thầy, 9 đời cha mẹ mình đó phải đi giảng sanh Nam Mô Phật.
Master, if one son enters the Buddha's door, then 9 ancestor generations ascend to the heavens. Then I guess if one daughter enters the Buddha's door, then 9 ancestor generations can get rebirth to the Pure Land.
I sure hope so. I'm not a male chauvinist pig. Okay, shall we move on? See, that's the spy there. Okay. Yes, sir, White.
Thank you, Master. This question is too complicated. It's all right. But how do the Chinese square reincarnation and ancestors?
No, it's just not just Chinese. It's Buddhist wisdom. The Buddhas have tremendous wisdom. When he says, one son enters my doors, because actually he saw a son entering my doors, so many sons. And for some reason, nothing happens when the girls. This is my interpretation. Okay? It's my show. So my point here is that the Buddha has Buddha's eyes, spiritual eye. So he sees these things happening. And that's why he says, every time that a son enters my doors, 9 generations of his ancestors ascend to the heavens. It's a fact. If you believe Buddhism, that's a fact. When the Buddha says so, because it's from observation. It's not from theory, whatever. The Buddha doesn't invent these things. What he has is these spiritual powers, this Buddha eye. He can see everything. He can see the progression. He can see the timeline. Okay? So he says, 9 generations, okay, of that son ascend to the heavens. So the 9 generations that before him, okay, ascended to the heavens. That's what happened. So that's why he says, because I see that repeatedly, and therefore any son who enters the Buddha's doors, my doors, okay, 9 generations of his ancestors will ascend to the heavens, which means, it doesn't mean that they go to heavens immediately. It only means that they receive heavenly blessings that will enable them to ascend to the heavens. Okay? And that's how it works. So for us, it's very precise. For them, Catholics and Christians, they go to purgatory and all those things. It's not quite like that from the Buddha's eyes. Okay? The Buddha says, it's because you die, you go see King Yama, okay, you Catholics in particular, you go see King Yama. King Yama looks at you and said, you have more blessings than offenses, okay? Karmic retribution, so you can go to a better place, okay? And turns out that the good things here are actually heavenly blessings, and therefore I can send you to the heavens myself. That's how it happens. Okay, that's exactly what happens for the people who have those spiritual eyes. They see that. That's why Buddhism is actually factual. Okay, and that's verified by people like Master YongHua, Bodhisattvas, and so forth. Okay, so it's up to me now to explain to you clearly. It's a son. Anyone else? Yes, Green.
Master, so this morning when Vanessa was talking to me, she was crying the entire time. And she asked me to send her John's 49-day plaque. Mm-hmm. And she was asking if she can make offerings to him every day. Is it okay? It's her wish.
She should let go. She should move on with her life. He's well taken care of right now. And she needs to take care of herself and her 2 daughters. That's what he wishes. I assure you, Vanessa, that's what John wishes, that you take care of yourself and your daughters. You need help. Your daughters need help. Your family members need help. John is doing great. He's being looked after by Amitabha Buddha. Okay? You have nothing to worry about for him. It's you need to take care of yourself. Okay? So, that's my advice. Okay, move on. Don't be so attached to him. Okay, he's fine, and even if Vanessa wishes him to come back and visit her occasionally, probably won't happen. Okay, because he'll have the wisdom, he'll be taught properly to be able to let go as well, because he has work to do himself. He needs to become a Buddha, an enlightened and a Buddha, so that he can help a lot of living beings. That's why he's there. He's not there for pleasure or just something casual. He's there because there's a mission, there's a work to do. Okay? So she should move on. All right. Next.
But if you don't do well, then there would be no benefit.
I disagree here. This is like he's talking to his disciples then. They probably like quite a few of them back then, at that time, was like that. Okay, so he has to remind them, I feel, that you have to do work for it. Otherwise, your coming here would be of no benefit. It's not true. You walk into the Buddha's doors. The mere fact you walk through the doors right there, you generate tremendous heavenly blessings for your 9 previous ancestors already. But the point here is that the more you apply yourself, the more blessings they have. That's what it is. And he's saying this because that's how you talk to the Chinese, I guess. It's not true. All right, moving on.
I just said that we need to build a Buddhist elderly home and a Buddhist youth association. A few days ago, didn't I mention that the Bodhisattvas gifted us a big building? We can use that place. Downstairs, the first floor can be used as the Buddha Hall, Chan Hall, and Dining Hall.
Stop. You see, in this, I wasn't there, so I kind of look for tips from him on what happened in his Dharma propagation. He says the Bodhisattvas gifted them with a big building. Okay. So you have to remember, Master YongHua back then was an obscure monk, Chinese monk who didn't speak English, lived in San Francisco, Chinatown, in a basement, okay? And he got a building, someone gave him a building that he rented out to generate income to support his disciples, monks and nuns. Yeah. So he's very cheap. He would not even spend money to fix up a Buddha hall. He probably was lecturing in the hallways of that apartment building or big building or whatever, old dilapidated building or something. But as more people came, the Bodhisattva decided to gift them with a big building. Okay, this is very important here. This is what he's setting the example for us, See, Mahayana is new to us. We need to learn the Mahayana ways. In the worldly ways, we do fundraising. We foster good relationship with the big donors and so forth. He didn't do that, okay? And he simply did his work. He worked with what he had, okay? And all he had is one building there. So, and his disciples back then were sleeping in outdoors as homeless people would. They used to use cardboard boxes because there's too many of them. Okay, many of them supposedly were like homeless people living in the park themselves. So to come to him with free food and a safe environment is better already. So it's not uncommon for them to be sleeping in the hallways outside. How you call that? Verandas. Okay, and they would have cardboard there, so at least they're shielded from the rain, from the elements a little bit. And some of them were more like hardcore. They would build something from scrap wood or scrap materials out in the open by themselves. Okay, so that's what I heard from YongHua. He was there during those early days. And he was so poor. YongHua had a beetle. It would drive him around. Okay, and he would volunteer to drive him around. So Master YongHua never asked for anything. He made do what he received. And apparently, the Bodhisattvas, he knew that the Bodhisattvas gave him a big building for them to do the work. So that's our proud tradition, Wei-Yang tradition. That is, we don't ask for anything, okay? And we make do with what we have. So don't expect people to give us things and support us, okay? Just do our things. So this fits in with our culture here, our value system here. It's meritocracy. If you deserve it, the help will come. Don't worry, okay? And there's no hurry either, okay? Because the more buildings, then the more work we have to do. Now we have people started asking for 8 precepts already. See that? What's the hurry? Okay, next.
The second floor can be used as the elderly home. Then we can invite ordinary elderly to live at our place.
Don't do that. Next, go on.
Then, when the elderly arrived, we can't just let them eat till full and fall asleep, sleep enough and eat again. Not like that.
Okay, we don't do this. Okay, folks, this is for his disciples. They have the buildings, they have the money, they have support, they can do this. We don't do this, okay? I want you to open your wisdom. Okay, we don't do charity work. If you do charity work, you will not be able to become enlightened quickly enough. Charity work is too slow for me, okay? You do charity work to generate blessings, but the better ways to generate blessings for you to become enlightened. You don't need to do charity work like this, okay? Let them. Let his sons do that, and daughters do that. Yes, White.
Hello, I'm very curious if he ever did the.
You always are. We know that.
I was wondering if he ever did the elderly center, and also if he ever got sued for that. Like, because I don't know, like with my clients, when they're elderly, they're very they ask for a lot, and sometimes when we don't provide them that, they just want to sue you. So I'm just wondering about that.
Yeah, he's Chinese. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a big, can of worm right here. You bring these people in, they don't know Buddhism, they don't know you, they look at you like you trying to exploit me, right? Get free money from government, from foundation and stuff like that. Look at us differently. That's why I will not touch with a 10-foot pole. It's legal obligations. Deal with sanitation. It's just they come in and they will open up everything. You're crazy. I mean, let the Chinese do it, okay? His disciples do it. Not for us, okay? No interest at all. Not for me. I will not touch this. Yes, White. You see, he's Chinese, so he doesn't understand the complexity of this society. It's very complicated. And you manage liabilities in our world. You have to be smart enough to manage your liabilities, your exposures. Yes, sir, White.
Like, for example, I know that the Catholic Church has centers for the elderly, but they're connected with mental health, they're connected with government agencies.
Yes.
And they're connected with other people in the communities in order to help these elderly people, because it doesn't, I'm so sorry to say this, but I don't think it's just about Buddhism, it's about mental health. Is it going to be sanitary? Do you have to have pro bono lawyers helping you too?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to pay out-of-pocket lawyers.
Yeah.
And that's why the Catholic Church has a lot of funding and a lot of...
Absolutely. They excel at that. We have to give them credit for it. I refer to the Catholic Church and to Master YongHua disciples. We don't deal with this, okay? Maybe in China they don't sue you, okay? Maybe they still don't. In my times, you don't sue the triple jewel, okay? You don't sue temples. Nowadays, I don't know anymore. But here, okay, they're lawsuit happy. Are you crazy? Okay, they have deep pockets. We don't have time to deal with this. Let's move on. Ooh. It's the no-win thing for us. We lack compassion, and they sound like idiots to engage in these things. It's too complicated. Okay, I would spend my whole career trying to figure it out before I do it. It's that complicated. Yes. Mental doctors, physical doctors, social agencies, charitable organizations because we need funding, And now, all of a sudden, as a monk, I have to think about asking for money. For what? To feed a bunch of, a lot of non-Buddhists. Okay, it's too complicated for me. Okay, it's no win for me. I'm not touching this. That's not what we do. This is not what our unique competence. We're not equipped for this. Okay, move on quickly.
念佛，然后这个功课呢，以前呢，是第三佛。
We should tell them to recite the Buddha's name. Then, we should design homeworks. How many incense of Buddha's recitation per day?
Okay, see, they're not even doing it. Why should we? They have the buildings, they have the money, they have the cash flows, everything, insurance, everything. We have nothing. We don't even have enough room for you. Yeah, go ahead, White.
I also see a problem with that because if you're putting elderly people and then you are making them to do that, they can complain stating that, oh yeah, you guys, they're forcing me to do all these things to stay here, and then you could get into legal issues because of that too.
Yeah.
So it has to be non-religious based.
Yeah.
Even you're providing religious services.
He has a good heart. He really cares. He says the right things. However, the implementation, I disagree with his style because he's too Chinese. He does not understand our society. Okay, I wouldn't do these things at all. Okay, it's not productive use of our time. Next.
二楼就是念佛，这个 first floor 就是参禅，禅定双修。
Second floor is for Buddha recitation. This first floor is for investigating Chan. We practice Chan and Pure Land in parallel.
Oh, he did.
It is best for the elderly to recite the Buddha's name. The elderly. The elderly, are close to the day of death.
Okay, that's too Chinese for me. I wouldn't put it that way. But the Chinese talk like that. You know, hey, it's a cool thing. He says we practice Chan and Pure Land in parallel. Hey, that's what we do. Yeah, cool. Didn't realize it. Never heard this before. So that's what he was doing when he started. And this is why I disagree with him. You know, he says, teach them to recite the Buddha's name. You could close the date of death. Try to force them. Good luck. The Pure Land that he's doing is too Chinese. They just recite the Buddha's name. Hoping for rebirth. That's what they teach themselves. We don't do that. Okay, moving on. It's just too Chinese.
It is best for elderly to recite the Buddha's name and seek rebirth in the West. Then, the third floor can be used as the Buddhist Youth Association.
Okay, stop. Okay, here. Okay, that's. Look at it from a Westerner's perspective. Okay, and the Chinese can say whatever they want, and that's their culture. They have a history of Chinese Buddhism where they recite the Buddha's name, they believe in that, the elderly people believe in that, and that's fine. Not for us. It's not going to work here. Okay? I just don't think. Okay? The reason that old people recite the Buddha's name is for two things. Number one, okay, they believe that they can be better off over there after they die. Valid reason, no problem with that. Okay. Number two, they feel better. It keeps them busy. They feel better about it. When they recite Buddha's name, it clears their head. Okay, that's how the Chinese do it. Okay, the Chinese who come here in our temple and do it, or the other groups who do it. It's their reason. That's it. Okay, but you need to understand the driving force behind it. Okay, the important part about the Pure Land Dharma door is to take care of them after they die, right? So instead of going through all these things, okay, we provide the mechanism for them to go to the Pure Land, whoever it is, after they die. That's the Pure Land Dharma door to me. And why go through all this, recite Buddha's name and then get afflicted at each other and yell at each other and fight each other? Okay, why do you step on my foot? Why don't you watch where you're going? Why you recite so loudly next to me? I can't concentrate. Okay, when was the last time you took a shower? It's on and on and on. Okay, the old people complain and they say, well, my kidneys are not working. Can I sit closer to the bathroom? Okay, how's your kidney? Never mind. So, it's too cumbersome to me. The Chinese is too cumbersome. Okay, just help them go to for rebirth, and then we be done with. Then they die, and we don't have to worry about them. And youth association. When we apply, we had to apply for insurance, and every time on the form right there, that says, "Do you have children's classes?" Because there's something the insurance companies are very leery about children classes because of the molestation of the kids. Okay, it happens. So there's so many complications here that not only from insurance, from regulations and laws and stuff like that, but we need to know how to teach the youth as well. Okay, so it's too much for us. Let the Catholics do that. They're much better equipped than us. They are. We're not equipped for this. Okay? There's nothing wrong with letting the Catholics do it and they come and teach and learn Buddhism from us. You know what I mean? Yes, Red.
마스터 궁금한 것이 하나 있습니다. 노인 얘기가 많이 나와서 갑자기 궁금해졌는데 치매에 걸리셨다가 돌아가시게 된 분들은 보통 다른 분들보다 좀 더 정토에 가기가 힘든 것인지 어떤 것인지 궁금합니다.
So I have a question for Master. Since we're mentioning about stories about elderly people, if someone has a dementia and then passed away, is it difficult for them to go to Pure Land? Is it more difficult to go to Pure Land?
Yes, they will fall. Next.
The Buddhist Youth Association can practice both reciting the Buddha's name and investigating Chan. Also help those elderly. Now, every one of us should be a great filial child. We have so many elderly. They are just like our parents. We can be filial to them.
他比他在他自己家里好100%倍，啊，以前这个护士，照顾这些老人。
All in all, we should make them feel millions of times better than if they were staying at their own home. We should get a few nurses to take care of these elderly. If they have any illness, we should send them to the hospital. Over there are people managing this. At our place, we just teach them to recite the Buddha's name. I think this is very good. Originally, I'm interested in the elderly. On this note, I'm old now. I will say this. I also wish you can be a little filial to me. Then, when you cultivate, you should have a perseverance mind. You cannot cultivate today and rest tomorrow. When you cultivate, you can't rest. If you cultivate for a day and rest for a day, then you will never achieve anything ever. You must cultivate every day, every hour, every quarter hour. Keep in mind that we don't know when impermanence will arrive.
Okay, so this is also, we heard from a Chinese master who has these wonderful ideals that I don't feel is practical in our cultures, in our times. It's too difficult to implement. And the fact is that there's no such a thing that exists today that he talked about. Elderly people's home is none. Youth association, I look at some of them, I saw problems that they cannot control. I think would have problems getting insurance as well. So it's not practical to me. And then another thing too that's very Chinese, they keep on talking about we don't know when impermanence arrives. You drop the wheel here. After when, there's no wheel. After when, the tense is present, as I can recall from my grammar rules. Okay, so these Chinese, Asians keep on telling themselves, and everyone nods their heads when they hear this, we don't know when impermanence comes. Okay, doesn't work for me. As impermanence, I don't even know what it means. Okay, if I die, I die. At least I have a good life. Okay, so but the point here is don't take it literally. You understand that this, how you read this, that's why when you listen to the Dharma, you have to listen with wisdom. What this is referring to is you need to be mindful of the fact that there's a sense of urgency here. Okay, the Chinese or the Asian, their urgency is that I can die any moment. Somebody could, the bus could hit me. Okay, or some of my friends will push me to the off the what do you call that for the metros? The boarding case, the subway platforms. Thank you. Okay, and you never know. That's at least in the movies. That's what happens. So the point here is to the Chinese, the Asians, they remind themselves, you need to cultivate, you need to do chant, you need to recite the Buddha's name because of impermanence. The concept of impermanence is in the culture. In our culture, we can't motivate people like that. Okay? So when you teach people why you want to learn chant, why you want to recite the Buddha's name, what is your sense of urgency? Okay, so you cannot do those things. You don't want to learn chant. You don't want to recite the Buddha's name unless you have a sense of urgency and you have a need to do those things. All right. So don't just listen to this and keep talking like the Chinese. That's what all the Chinese tell me. They say, "Oh, I don't know when impermanence. We can't tell when impermanence comes." I say, "Yeah." Shall we stop here? It's 9 o'clock. There's no impermanence. Yes, Red. But time is up. Yes, go ahead, Red.
Hi, Master. Just one thing from Korea. Since they talked yesterday during the Dharma talk, there was a talk about Master Z. So several followers in Korea actually contacted me and then just want to share their concern. They're saying that Master Z lost so much weight compared to when he arrived in Korea, and his cheeks actually were sunken, and so they're kind of worried how to make him to gain weight.
In the United States, we gain weight by eating American food. So Make him some hamburgers with kimchi. I don't know. Okay, Xienan, it's your problem. When you go back, make sure he gains weight.
제가 돌아갈 때 여러 가지 식재료를 준비해 갈 예정입니다.
I'm planning to bring many different materials to cook for him.
Okay. Okay. But actually, there's a difference in the weight thing. The Koreans weight more than us in general, don't they? See the two ladies at Jewel Mountain right now. They tend to be on the thin side. Most Koreans actually weigh 30% to 50% more than they do. Okay, so it seems to me Master Z probably is like 30-40% lighter, so it's just perfect. So does he eat breakfast too, or he skips the breakfast? No breakfast. Okay, then make sure he eats breakfast and give him fatty stuff. Okay? Like cheese. Okay? You younger people need to be careful not to eat this fatty stuff because it increases your sexual desire. For him, it's not a problem. So that's why you can use fatty stuff. Okay? So he needs to eat breakfast because he works too much. Okay? Sienna can give some of her weight to Master Z. Will be faster. So ask Sienna how to maintain. Any more questions from Korea? Okay, we stop here then. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.